This new patch has seriously mixed up the meta. With the majority of the old meta characters massively nerfed, what's viable now is vastly different, and now there's tons of things that are viable in ranked that really weren't that viable just a couple of weeks ago. Now, while change is always really fun, it may leave many of you struggling to find exactly what character that you should start climbing from low rank all the way to Grandmaster and even beyond. That being said, GameLeap has you covered with the top 8 big winners of the new meta so that you can pick a character that has all the tools to help you succeed, and you make sure to give yourself the best chance to climb and win each and every game you come across. All that being said, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Now, to kick this list off, we have a new hero that is finally back from the ashes. We're going to be doing a guide over her really soon, and it's Diva. Diva is incredibly powerful in this new meta. With Sigma, Orisa, Mei all nerfed and Diva massively buffed with her 3-second boosters, she's looking to be one of the most powerful individual impact tanks going forward. Diva has the capability to weave in and out of combat, contest DPS on the high ground, and bring a lot of utility to her team. Her defense matrix alone can shut down Pharah Mercies, eat things like Onanate and Ash's Dynamite, and when used to specifically shut down powerful abilities, it can be incredibly powerful to have impact in each and every one of your games. Now, Diva has never been an easy character to play, so definitely check out my Diva guide if you want to know everything that you should be doing in each and every game of Overwatch on Diva, because it can be really easy to get overwhelmed, and the difference between a Diva that knows what he's doing is someone who hard carries, and a Diva who just plays Diva simply because he's meta without any understanding of your roles and the responsibilities of you as a Diva player. You can become a huge liability for your team, getting farmed for precious ult charge and bringing little to no valuable impact, so definitely check that out. Now, moving on to number 2 on our list, we have a DPS Widowmaker. Now, Widowmaker is so powerful for a number of reasons. Firstly, double shield is vastly weaker than it ever has been, leaving Widowmaker tons of opportunities to get these key picks. Widow has always dominated high-level competitions due to her mechanical necessity, but if you can start to practice Widow and master her, you could definitely win tons of games of Overwatch on the back of Widow. Especially with the Widowmaker maps still in the map pool right now, things like Dorado and Nubani, Widowmaker could definitely completely dominate some of those map types. Now, with how strong Widowmaker is, she is definitely susceptible to dive, so if you see a Widowmaker on your team as a healer, definitely put some effort into pocketing them. If Widowmaker can survive the onslaught of enemies trying to dive her, she could definitely bring forth tons of effort if she gets that opportunity and that pressure is lifted off her shoulders. Now, moving on to number 3, this is another tank, and this is Hammond. I've talked time and time again about just how powerful Hammond is, and going forward, he's looking to be even more powerful. The thing about Hammond is there's very few characters that can actually shut him down. Only Mei and Sombra have any tools to shut him down, and because of the state of Overwatch as it is now, with the nerf to the double shield meta and the spread out nature of the game right now, Hammond can have so much solo impact. And if you're looking for a tank to help you climb out of ranks, maybe you don't have synergy with your other tank, or you don't have resources from your other DPS or supports, Hammond can create space all by himself. He can roll around the maps getting health packs so he doesn't need resources, and he can build up mines which can have so much impact and just single-handedly turn a team fight. So, and between him and Diva, you'll have 2 tanks that can hard carry in almost any situation between the 2 of them. So 2-tricking those characters is actually a really solid combo. Now, moving on to number 4, we're going to enter in our first support, and it's actually Mora. Now, Mora is looking to be the pound for pound highest healing per second hero. Because of Baptiste's nerf and the other healers just not coming close to her heals per second, Mora is looking to be one of the best healers if you're trying to play a brawly style comp. If you're trying to play a Reinhardt, if you're trying to play an Orisa or a Sigma, or you're trying to play Reaper, things that want to fight on the front line, really get into the enemy, Mora is incredibly powerful at doing those things. The fact of the matter is, unfortunately for Ana's case, while she definitely has a really powerful kit to make individual plays, she can't heal more than one ally at the same time, which is a really big knock against her. I mean, you could definitely use Onanate to heal multiple allies, but her primary fire really only heals one target at a time, while Mora can heal the whole team. So when you're playing in a composition that's clumped together, Mora is probably one of the most powerful healers to give you that sort of sustain, and Coalescence in general is definitely a game fight winning ability if you want to give your team overall sustain and added DPS in the mid fight. It can help you push through a lot of these 2 CP maps. Now, the one thing that you need to keep in mind with playing Mora is Diva is going to be played a lot more now, and as such, Diva is going to be constantly looking to eat your Mora orbs. Throwing out damage orb definitely has its place in Mora's playstyle, but if you let your orbs get eaten by Diva, a lot of your effective healing can be neutralized. So definitely keep that in mind. It's really important to not let her get that kind of value and to shut down your effectiveness. Now, before we move on to number 5, I'm going to tell you really quickly about GameLeap.com. Don't worry, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We're the best educational platform you'll find anywhere, and if you want to learn any of these heroes on this list, definitely come check check us out. I'll break it down more for you in the end of the video, but for now, hope you enjoy. Now we're gonna roll over to number 5, and for this we have another DPS hero, Mccree. Now Mccree is actually looking insanely good going forward for a number of reasons. He didn't get his 50 HP buff that was on the PTR that I actually made an entire video over, and you could tell by my voice that I'm not salty that I had to scrap that whole video, but Mccree is still really powerful because even though he didn't get his 50 HP buff, he still has his same fire rate, which was going to get nerfed, and in the new age of weakened shields or no double shield at all, Mccree can definitely help you break shields on the front line, and Mccree is simply just a really good dueler when the game opens up. When the game becomes more brawly, more free-for-all oriented, more like a DPS in general instead of a really clumped type fest, it opens up a lot of potential plays for Mccree because he's one of the best duelers on the roster. He can take really proactive flanks, he can duel Doomfist, Reapers, things on the high ground. Mccree can get all kinds of value, and if you learn how to take these proactive flanks, Mccree can not only dish out frontline pressure, but make plays as well. Also, Mccree can really heavily punish things like Hammond who want to roll through your team, slam down. Mccree can stun that out, help you focus fire him down. Mccree brings a lot of utility to each and every game you're playing him in, and with Hanzo's Storm Arrow nerf, Mccree actually has a pretty good matchup against Hanzo. He's looking to be one of the most solid, well-rounded DPS going forward. He doesn't have the highest character potential like something like Widow, but if you're looking for a character that you could play all the way from the low ranks to the high ranks, who's good in almost every scenario, don't sleep on my boy Mccree because he is definitely one of the best DPS going forward. Now, let's move on to number 6, and we have another tank on the list, and it's Reinhardt. Between Diva, Hammond, and Reinhardt, these are the 3 biggest winners of this new patch as far as tanks are concerned, and we all know that tanks dictate metas, and the power level of tanks is really important. We're seeing a lot of different combos, something like Hammond Diva for a dive. We've seen Diva Monkey a little bit. We've seen Rein Diva is a really popular one because of the utility that Diva brings. The cool thing about Diva Rein as opposed to Diva Zarya is Diva could bring a lot of different utility in the fact that she could eat a lot of powerful abilities. She can eat the other Rein's fire strike, so she can shut down his ultimate, get your Rein ultimate much faster, and Rein has the capability to make these really high impact plays right now. Because the other Rein is pretty much the sole thing that can block you if you're mirroring Rein Diva. If you're the better Rein, you're gonna have all this potential to really hard carry your team, and I'm gonna really emphasize this point here. I played a game recently where I was in the support role. Both teams were really close, but my Rein on King's Row got 0 effective shadows off. Their Rein blocked them all, and I got shattered as a support in the back line with my whole team 4 different times. Now, the problem with this happening is the enemy won a whole bunch of fights only investing a single Rein ult. This is insanely powerful for their ult advantage, and they got to essentially win this fight and still sandbag their ults. So the next fight, they got to use their ultimates on us because we lost the fight. Sometimes we even invested ults and we lost the fight, and they only had to invest 1 to win the fight. So it allowed the snowball to happen, and single-handedly, their enemy Rein was so good, and he beat our Rein so badly that it allowed them to pretty much win the game on his back alone. So that's something that you really need to keep in mind here is Rein is an extremely hard carry right now, especially in the Rein v Rein matchup, and if you can learn all the tips and tricks to that, I have a Rein guide y'all can definitely check out, but definitely it's worth it to put in the time and effort to play Rein. He's probably the best pound for pound shield tank going forward. Moving on to number 7, we have the last support on our list, and that's Brig. Now, Brig is a big winner in a number of ways. Firstly, she plays really well with Mora right now because they both brawl on the front line, and in a brawly composition with someone like Rein, someone like Mei or Reaper, Brig and Mora can help enable that front line pressure, can really help you walk into the team. But the really powerful thing that Brig does right now is her armor is so powerful. Rally in itself can feel so oppressive against a team that doesn't have Rally. I mean, you really just give your team so much survivability that if you're rallying in, the Hammond all of a sudden feels useless. A lot of the scrap damage that you take from things like Dynamite or just poke from things like Diva, all of a sudden this damage feels really marginal and you feel like you could just walk into the enemy team. Brig brings tons of utility and she can really hard carry a lot of games. Zoning out and peeling for a DPS is another big one. You can give armor packs and peel for your Widowmaker or your Mccree that's getting dove. Brig brings tons of value to the table, and honestly, a combination of more Brig together as your hero pool support can be really powerful. It can be a hero combo that definitely fills a lot of the different gaps. Now, let's move on to number 8, and this is our final character on the list, a DPS character, and this is Sombra. So the thing about Sombra is Sombra has really been held back by double shield, really. It's really hard for a Sombra to build ult charge when there's shields all around. There's a Sigma that can constantly be repurposing his shield and all these things. But the thing about Sombra in general against a lot of the meta right now is now that double shield is kind of taking a back seat a little bit. It's seeing less play, and even when it sees play, it's not as powerful. Sombra gets opened up and can threaten a lot of these things on this list. I mean, Diva is a priority to hack. If you hack her, you could pretty much build EMP so quickly. Hammond gets completely shut down by Sombra in a way that feels like a hard counter. Sombra can put pressure on enemy widows. She can put a lot of pressure in on the front line. And then don't even get me started about her EMP, which with Rein and Diva seeing play now, between Diva Bomb and Rein Shatter, Sombra has a lot of ultimate she can combo her EMP with that usually end in just a fight win outright. So Sombra is a character that I think will be played a lot more, especially due to the power level of Hammond. Sombra is the best character to shut him down and keep him in check. And Sombra's not the easiest character to master, so if you put in some time now, you could definitely get a lot of free wins shutting down enemy Dooms, Hammonds, and pressuring a lot of enemies on an axis they're not used to, plus getting these really fat EMPs that just single-handedly can carry teamfights all on its own. Now, I know that these big winners are looking a lot different from some of the characters that it's seen play in the past, but really, this new patch is so huge, and I have another complete video talking about hero pools, which could mix things up even more so. So definitely go check that out, and if you want to learn any character on this list, do yourself a favor and go check out GameLeap.com. We have in-depth guides over every character on this list, and the problem with a lot of these characters right now is there's not that much content for them. Our website's packed to the brim with Diva, Widow, Sombra, Reinhardt guides. These guides are so important if you want to maximize your impact on these characters, you want to have the leg up on your competition, and you want to beat the mirror again and again. You definitely need to check out GameLeap.com, and you don't even have to take my word for it. GameLeap.com offers a 10-day money-back guarantee, so come check us out risk-free, and I know you won't regret it. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and any characters you've been having some success with in rank, definitely leave them in the comments down below. One of the characters that I didn't put on this list, but I've been having some success with, is actually Genji. I don't know how good he is overall, but I've been having a lot of fun reflecting Mora orbs and Rein fire strikes. I'm going to actually give you an in-depth Genji VOD review coming soon because I think Genji is actually really fun in this meta. I don't know if he's that viable, but he's still incredibly fun, and that's why I play the game of Overwatch. I don't know about you, but I definitely want to hear what you've been having success with in ranked, because every single person's experience is different. Just because these characters are really good at the highest rank doesn't mean you're not finding success with other characters at your rank or in your scenario with your skill set. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time,